Hello everyone, it is your boy Winster and I am back at it again with another video. I hope everyone watching is having a phenomenal day. And as always, my kings and queens, I appreciate the support. So this is a feature match featuring myself, funny enough, versus our local Rikka plant player. He's just a gardener, honestly. I don't think I've ever seen him on anything else. Since I'm on meta, I end up winning the die roll. You know how it is sometimes. But this is a first of its kind on my channel, guys. This is a locals feature match that you guys have been wanting with commentary, since I have so much support for the locals feature match. And on top of that, you guys want to hear the commentary. So we're going to go ahead and try it out. If there's anything that I could improve on, please let me know in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. I won the die roll. I am going first, and I activate Ryzeal Bonfire. It doesn't search out Ash anymore. I search out the Ice Ryzeal normal summon, specials out the EXT Ryzeal. EXT Ryzeal searches out the Sword Ryzeal. And then from there, we go right into dual drive. Now, at this point, I'm like, man, he didn't stop Bonfire nor Ice. If he stops dual drive, we're kind of cooked, but we still could extend because we have the Engraver in hand. Luckily, it did not get stopped, so I search out the node and the field spell to start setting up my plays after I go through this Engraver effect. So search out Track. Track searches out the Lori, and then Lori is going to go ahead and be discarded and then special summon. Funny enough, he pulls out his phone and starts recording me. He's seen this combo 1,000 times, but bro, this is Inception. I'm recording us when you're recording me. So I use that Lori to go into Requiem effect to summon out the Lacrima to send the trap for more interruptions on my opponent's turn. So at this point, I'm just going through my combo, and I use the Requiem effect in the graveyard to equip into the Lacrima, so I could go ahead and contact fuse both of these into the Necro equip. So I'm setting up protection just in case if he does have something, he has to use it at this point. But even then, I'll still be able to fully extend into the Ryzeal engine, which I still have cards in my hand. So I am pretty happy about that. And then here, we're going to go ahead and shuffle back the Lori, so we could go ahead and summon out the Engraver. And I need to remember to shuffle my deck. I always forget, guys. I always forget. And then I end up top decking Lori, and I'm like, no, I forgot. So here I end up going right into the Caesar. So they had more than enough time to stop me beforehand. So now I have the Nibiru proof, and I am feeling really good. So here, now at this point, we're going to go ahead and go right into the rest of our engine with the Ryzeal cards. Since I had Sword, I'm going to go ahead and summon him out. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and search off my opponent, just reading the cards to make sure I'm able to do that, because he wants to know when I am actually locked. So since I have the EXT in my hand, there's no need to search it out. I'm going to go ahead and search out the Ice Ryzeal. My opponent just going through my graveyard really quick to making sure, you know, what I have. At this point, I want to set up the dual drive, and I want to set it up with a juicy material for it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get as many bodies as I can out. I am going to go ahead and use the Ice Ryzeal effect to send the dual drive to the graveyard, so I could go ahead and summon it out. My opponent just reading it because I did normal summon it to start this whole combo off, but I could go ahead and still use this special summon effect. Now, I want to get as many interruptions as I can. So what I end up doing is use EXT Ryzeal to send the aggregator to the graveyard. And then that way I could set up a juicy detonator. My boy is going to be looking thick on a Thursday afternoon. Dual detonator, going to go ahead and get summoned here with 3 materials, and then its effect on field to get the aggregator from the graveyard. And then that way we could go ahead and have a 4 material detonator. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and use the field spell to shuffle the monsters back, because sending the dual drive to recycle it is pretty good. And then here, we're going to just go ahead and beef up our hand and then draw. And then at this point, we're just going to go ahead and go through everything, our graveyard and hand, see what other options we have. We have pretty much everything set up on our turn. So we're going to go ahead and pass. My opponent finally has a chance to play. So He has a very, very spicy hand. It's super freaking crazy. So thinking here how he's going to break this board. So he has two negates, summonings, and with an easy answer, he activates Lightning Storm. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and protect my monsters. He's like, wait, hold on. There's still more. Because I don't have a response here, he's going to go ahead and activate Lightning Storm. And then it is super, super crazy what he does. He activates the Forbidden Droplet. He targets the Caesar, but it doesn't target. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, well, I need to protect these monsters. So I'm going to go ahead and still protect the Caesar. And then we're going to go ahead and protect the Detonator. Caesar is negated, but Detonator is still active. And we're going to go ahead and protect. And Detonator effect does not activate for those curious. I was just reading there. I'm like, okay, does this activate or does it do it instead? My opponent just reading, and I think he realized he made a little bit of a mistake. He needed to negate the Detonator. That way the Lightning Storm would have resolved completely and destroyed my Exceed monsters. But Detonator protects monsters, Exceed monsters that are being destroyed by battle or by card effect by detaching instead. Luckily, it does not activate, and that's really important for this next part. My opponent is going to go ahead and activate Talons, and I'm like, wait, I haven't activated anything. It doesn't activate. And then my opponent needs to reread my card, and that's okay. You know, we want to make sure it's a fair game. And my opponent takes back the triple tactics. Now I know he has it, but I'm like, wait, I have an Ash, so I need to be careful with what I Ash. My opponent normal summons the Loci. I don't really have much of an answer for that. Then he's going to go ahead and link it off, of course, into the link one. I always forget this monster's name, and he's going to go ahead and activate the effect. Here I'm thinking, well, I don't want to Ash this right away. I want him to erase his resources because he's already erased 2, and he messed up with what to negate. So on resolution, I'm going to go ahead and use a field spell to negate the Link monster. And then here, he's going to go ahead and activate Tribute it. And then he's going to go ahead and special summon from deck. I'm going to go ahead and activate Ash here. And at this point, I'm just like, well, you know, whatever. I know he has it. I just need to make sure he uses all the resources that he can. Here, we make a fatal mistake. He points to the Detonator thinking that it targets, and then I activate Detonator effect to destroy itself. My opponent should have at least taken the Caesar, which is negated. And I don't know what he was going to be able to do with it realistically. So that is one mistake that we both did not catch. Pop my own Detonator, and just making sure that I could target it, I did triple check to make sure. My opponent doesn't have too much. What would have happened here is he would have go ahead and got the Caesar swung. I don't know if he would have had anything to go after that, because he might have been plant locked at this point. I don't know how the Rikka monsters work. So my opponent just passed his turn. I would have at least lost 2,800, our mistakes. And then from here, I just go ahead and use a field spell to draw 2. My opponent passes. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and activate the Engraver, where my opponent then just decides to scoop. Going into game 2, I go ahead and start going second. Of course, my opponent is going to go first. I mean, what else does a combo deck want to do, right? But I have both Mochumi Perulia and Fualos in my hand, so I'm feeling pretty good. And I know this deck can lose to a Nib if properly placed. My opponent starts off his turn with summoning Rikka. Activate as a response with Perulia. Honestly, I probably should have activated that in the draw phase so I could get an extra draw. And then I ask him, do you have a response, my good sir? He says no. Then I activate the Fualos. And my opponent just laughs, right? Because he knows what he's going to get himself into here. He could potentially deck me out. And he's done it before to one of our other players. And he loves this challenge. He gets super hype about it. It's so freaking funny. But I have activated both Mochumi Perulia and Fualos. My opponent is just thinking, well, is it worth going into this fully committed, because he knows I play hand traps. So he's going to go ahead and activate the spell card for the Rikka, special summon from the graveyard. I don't have the cat. The new Mochumi card I would have drew off of there, but I couldn't. He's going to use those 2 monsters to go into a link summon, which I am going to go ahead and get 1 draw off of. Then my opponent brings back the Seed. And then he's going to go ahead and go right into another link summon, which I am going to get another draw off of. And we're feeling good right now. My opponent is fully committing to everything. He activates the effect. I draw the Ash, activate the Ash to stop the effect. And then he brings back the link monster by shuffling a monster back, and then brings back, and then the Roach in the graveyard brings back a banished one. I can't remember exactly. Like I said, it's been a while since I played the Rikka cards. They're really good in my opinion. You guys should check out my profile. It's pretty old, but you guys can check it out. But he's going to go ahead and maybe decide on which one he's really going to summon, which is okay. Remember, we're here for locals. We're having fun. He's going to summon out the Jasmine. And of course, I'm going to get a draw for that. And then he's going to go ahead and activate the Therion monster in the hand. Go ahead and equip itself. And then on summon, it's going to search out the field spell. And then the field spell, of course, is going to search out the negates. So again, I'm just feeling really, really good from here, right? I don't think I ended up drawing from of the Therion plant monster, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Activate the Druisworm because I want to have a monster on the field, and I don't want to shuffle it back because I know he's going to summon a shit ton of monsters. So I banish the one light or dark monster in his graveyard, summon out the Druisworm. He doesn't really care, but I'm like, you know what? I need something, right? Because I need to make sure that I don't shuffle so many cards back. He's going to go ahead and activate Jasmine effect to tribute the plant, and then he's going to go ahead and get a draw or a search off of his card. And like at this point, I don't really care. I just need you to get to a point where I could go ahead and draw Nibiru, and a point to where I could activate it. He's going to go ahead and summon the Loci from the deck, and I get another draw. I get so many draws from this match. Is absolutely crazy. He links off the Loci, goes into another link 1. It's going to be the plant, the tree of giving, and because he's giving me another draw, he's going to go ahead and activate the effect on the plant monster. He's going to go ahead and I think it adds and since he's playing like 60 card pile, he just has so many cards, like, and they're double sleeved at that. So he's going to go ahead and search out the spell. Now at this point, I'm like worried. I'm like, I do not want him to get to a point where he could activate negate a effect by tributing a Rikka monster, but I need to make sure that I properly place a nib if I draw one at the right place. So I get another draw off of that, and then he's thinking of how he's going to do this. At this point, I have like 10 freaking cards in my hand, and I'm like, please stop, bro. You need to stop. He's going to go ahead and summon out the Loci to go into another link monster, and I get another draw. And then he's going to go ahead and trigger some effects again. So crazy how much this deck could combo is just absolutely insane. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a crazy amount of cards, but I need to properly place this nib. And then before he could go ahead and use, I think it's the field spell that tributes the Rikka to negate a monster that your opponent activates. I can't remember. I don't play against this deck too often. And a lot of players who did play this deck are kind of off it because it just got hit so bad when the link got limited to 1. But we're just going to go ahead and discuss here a couple things. My opponent is just thinking, right? I don't usually rush people unless it's like something super crazy, right? Where they're just like standing still. But my opponent is like, them gears are turning, bruh, you know? He is thinking, he's like, how do I set this up? He's going to go ahead and activate the effect or link off those 2 monsters to go into another draw. Now at this point, I'm like, man, he's probably going to go into that Exceed monster that summons out the Hyperion. I think it's Strenna. I could be wrong, but he goes into another link. And I'm going to go ahead and get another draw. And he goes into the Bouncer. And I think he takes the damage from whatever he ends up bouncing. And at this point, I think he gets another monster on board. And I'm worried about him going into Strenna because he wants to start activating the effect to make everything like rank 4. And I'm like, wait, I can't deal with all of it, right? Like I have a lot of cards in my hand, but the thing is that I have the Druisworm and I do have like an imprint to negate things, but I can't deal with everything, right? So what I'm going to go ahead and do before he starts linking things off and summoning things off, I'm going to go ahead and go right into a hand trap of sorts. And he's thinking here still. And I'm just like, okay, wait. I need to make sure that I could deal with all these monsters. So he gets another link summon out into another Jasmine, into another link summon. I get another draw, another Jasmine. He's going to activate effect in the graveyard. Activates a couple effects on field that trigger. And it's just at this point, I don't even know what's going on, bro. And I show the camera how many cards that I have. It's just absolutely funny, man. Like, this guy really takes this challenge seriously. Anytime anyone activates like one of the Flawless, he's like, I'm gonna deck you out. It's just absolutely crazy. He doesn't really care. He's here for the lulz, you know, and I'm with it too. I'm a pretty chill guy. So he's just procting all these effects out. I'm not interrupting at all. Like, I'll tell you when I got something, you know, and I'm just taking his word for it. And anytime I'm confused on something, I'm like, well, like, you know, I need to make sure that I could go ahead and at least understand what you're trying to do. So at this point, I'm like, wait, hold on. Are you about to go into Strena? I can't deal with that, bro. I can't deal with that. And he searched out the field spell, I think, at that point. And he's just summoning from hand. I get the Perulia effect. I think that's the first one or the second one. So at this point, he activates the effect to make everything like rank 4. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Before you go into anything, I'm going to go ahead and activate Nibiru. And he's just like, oh, no. So it's time to board wipe this field. And he's just thinking, what are the next options for us? So he's wasted a lot of resources to get to this point. And I am going to clear out my own Jerusalem. I'm going to go ahead and give him a token. Put that token in defense mode. But then I'm just going to activate Jerusalem effect to send the token back. And he like points to it and I don't get it. I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, I need to take back my own token. So he's going to go ahead and try to continue to play off, activate the field spell, which I was worried about. And I'm pretty sure that's what you know, tribute negates the monster. At this point, he like points like, oh, it's your turn. He's like, wait, hold on. I still have more. He's going to go ahead and summon out the rank 4 monster or the level 4, link 4 monster from the graveyard by banishing those plants equal to the rank or the link monster. And he's going to go ahead and pass turn. At this point in the end phase, because I don't want to shuffle all these cards back, I'm going to go ahead and activate Magnuma, but I made a fatal mistake that my Magnuma resolves before my Melchummy does, or at least that's how we ended up ruling it. Let me know in the comment sections if that's the correct way to do things. I honestly do not know, but I just wanted to clear this monster out of my hand. I search out the Druid Swarm, and my deck is like halfway. Look at that, guys. Look at my hand. And here we're just... Look at my hand. Here we're just counting how many cards I have to shuffle back. So he has 4 on field. I have to do +6, so that's 10, and I have 15 cards. So, okay, well, I got to shuffle 5 back. So what I end up doing, I just shuffle my hand up because it's randomly. And I want to be fair, right? I don't think it's fair if I do it, so I'm just going to give it to my opponent, put the cards back, and he shuffles, and he accidentally sees a card here, but it's okay. It's not like a big deal. I'm not tweaking over it, you know? So he shuffles, and then we're going to go ahead and send back 5. And I'm praying, I'm like, please, don't just give me the board breakers. Give me engine pieces, because I did have a crazy amount of, like, hand traps. So, my deck gets refilled. It's so crazy, guys. I have half my deck in my hands, and I haven't even played yet. So, I pass, my opponent passes turn. So, I draw for turn. And I just have all the engines in my hand, right? I could do whatever I want at this point. I'm going to go ahead and start off the turn with tributing the Magnum to summon the Lubellion. And I could do that from Hand of Grave. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate the Lubellion so I could go ahead and set up Branded Regain. I love drawing cards. My opponent makes a comment too. He's like, as if you already haven't drawn enough already. And I'm just like, yeah, bro, I want more though. Always more. So there's really no reason to like fully extend here, right? I don't know his back row card. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a very simple combo. Start off with normal summoning the Ice Ryzeal. Ice Ryzeal is going to go ahead and special summon a Ryzeal monster from the deck, but because I have every single option here, I almost mess up and I summon the wrong target, summon another copy of itself, but it can't do that. And I'm looking at my hand, I'm like, wait, I have it in my head, no! So I just summon a whatever monster, it doesn't really matter at this point. And then I go ahead and think, well, should I go into dual drive? I'm like, wait, I have everything I need in my hand. So it's just really, really awkward when you have all the options, right? You get like really bad tunnel vision, or maybe people could get overwhelmed with what you have. So here I just summon out the detonator, and then I attach the Druid Worm. I was thinking that maybe I could detach it, but I wouldn't be able to get its effect because it needs to be sent from the field to the graveyard. But it doesn't really come up, but that was my thinking there. Activate the Engraver, the one card that I didn't have. Activate the track that I search out the Lori, and you guys seen this combo. Genuinely, we have every option that we want, but we're going to start going into the Fiendsmith stuff, and we want to make sure we set up everything. At this point, it's like pretty much game, right? I think it's just, I need to take the very simple way, summon out the Requiem. Requiem effect is going to go ahead and summon out the Lacrima. And then here, we already had it in hand, but Lacrima effect. And then we're going to go ahead and send the Engraver. I cited out the trap card, so there's no reason to send that. And I'm planning to kill at this point, right? Like, look how much damage I have on board. But activate Engraver effect, shuffle back the Lori, and then I'm going to go ahead and summon it out. And then here, I need to clear that monster on field, so I'm going to activate Requiem to connect to the Engraver. Engraver effect to send the Requiem that's equipped to it, and then the monster on the field to the graveyard. My opponent accidentally sends it to the extra deck, but he asked me, does it send it to graveyard or extra deck? I'm like, oh no, it's graveyard. And just to make sure, I start reading Engraver, right? Like, these simple mistakes are something that I don't want to overlook, right? Because I'm always trying to improve my gameplay. And here we're just rereading it, sends it to the graveyard. I think he accidentally banished it. No, that's his graveyard. Yeah. Wait, no, I think that's his banish zone. But it doesn't really matter, right? At this point, I just go straight into battle phase. I'm like, I'm gonna kill you here, right? And he activates tributes to Nibiru's cost. And I realize that because that's how those Rikka monsters work. They're so good. To try to take the detonator. And in here I asked, does it target? I'm like, okay, well, I need to make sure that he doesn't take this monster. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is activate the detonator. So that way you could go ahead and pop himself again. It sucks. I'm not going to be able to kill. But I wasn't sure what he had in the back row. So I genuinely wouldn't know. But he did search it out, so maybe that's on me because I didn't pay attention. So here I'm still in battle phase. We're going to go ahead and swing. And then we both realize that he's going to start, my monster's going to start losing attack points. They lose 300, so unfortunately I can't kill here. But what I start doing is setting up the next play. I go into main phase 2, and I'm like, well, I didn't get locked into anything, and I haven't really activated anything. The only thing I have really activated is the Engraver and the Tract and the Lori. So I get a draw off of the field spell, shuffle some cards back, and then from here, it's time to go into the rest of the combo with the Engraver. So we're going to go ahead and link summon into the Requiem, or not the Requiem, the Sequence, excuse me. I always forget those two. And then here we're going to go ahead and go into sequence effect. We're going to go ahead and shuffle everything back. Now, I'm sorry guys, it does suck. I don't know what ended up happening, but my camera ends up dying towards the end here. Yeah, so my end board is going to be the Desiree with 2 monsters equipped to it for 5,800 attack. And I ended up just passing my turn here. But what ends up happening is my opponent doesn't draw anything. I have multiple hand traps in my hand. There's nothing he could really do. He's used so many resources. But thank you again, guys, for watching. I really, really appreciate the support. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will check you out later. My name is Winster. Have a good rest of your day.